Welcome back to another edition of Real Talk Youth Impact Program with your host, Gordon Watt. I'm with Director Miss Sheree Cornell, the founder, director, the all of the above. And the reason why we're doing all of this is because we want to get the awareness for the kids, the parents, the family, the community to reach out to you folks so that you can come to the program, check us out. We have an exciting program. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, it's going to be something that you can detrimentally use because when you register at realtalkyip.org, you're going to see drop downs. And I want you guys to get involved, whether you're an ex-felon, whether you're a parent, whether I want to donate, get involved, volunteer. Miss Sheree will explain it to all, and we can figure out how we can get you involved because let's face it, we all live in the same community. And, from my post that you see on the Facebook page, we're the organization that understands the kids and be the bridge for the parents and the kids to figure out a better way of life. Miss Sheree!
Yes.
How you guys doing?
We are back. Excited to be another part of the second episode.
Correct.
Real Talk, It Takes a Village. I'm excited about what's happening in our program and excited about getting you guys involved with us and starting to follow us. So welcome.
I know what we do have is some numbers so that the public can actually see what we're actually doing and to understand what it takes when a child is going down a wrong path or what's a family searching for in Google versus just thinking they're going to do it all on their own. And I know Miss Sheree's, she's a big numbers person. She's really anal about this stuff at sometimes, but this is what I love about her. And combined with what we got going on, and there's nobody out there, retired ex-justice, probation officer, working with inmates, convicts to better the community. And what better people to do it than us? Yes. But I know you have some stats and some cards and some material. Yes. Talk to me about what you got.
We've been doing this now for 13 and a half years. Gordon has been with me for 11 years in November. We have been able to serve over 2,400 kids through our program. So as I said, 2,412 students through my program. And then we have had over 1,200 graduates. So keep in mind, though, Gordon, and I don't know if you've even known this, but we have had over 3,500 people actually enroll in our program. However, with all those numbers in the enrollment, we only have had 2,400 come through the program. So we're at 78% of those that enroll. So, hey, we're still doing really well. Over 1,100 kids from the court ordered. So those kids come through. The beauty of that, though, which I'm very, very proud to report, I don't even know if you've known this, so you're going to learn with the audience.
Absolutely.
But we have a 68% graduate rate for those kids coming from the courts.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
So
we're glad that they're now finally contractually engaged with us. And so I'm looking for bigger and better things to get those kids to continue to come through. But my biggest plight with them coming through now is getting them involved in activities.
Right.
We have not even 1% of those kids who come through the court sign up for activities that we sponsor.
We are a secondary educational program, right? To make that clear, we try to educate them on what's possible because idle time brings curiosity. Curiosity gets you into trouble.
Yeah.
Because if you hear Miss Sheree's story, always in June with our anniversary that goes on, you hear why she ticks this way. And she does have a book that explains a lot of different things. But at the same time, her passion is to help the community because if you hear her background with how many siblings she has, some of her brothers got deceased in the system and she could not understand why. And she don't want that to happen to anybody. Same like myself. I don't want anybody's family to go through the things that I put my family through or the reasoning why are because of, say, validation issues, attention-seeking issues, or trying to belong into something else. At Real Talk Youth Impact Program, we give them an outlet, a way to understand that they belong to something greater than themselves, even if they don't see it in themselves, yes. Right?
At 15 and a half, somebody took me under their wing, Mr. and Mrs. Bautista.
Right.
And I always say this, they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And so, and I really always remember that. It resonates to me every time I run the program and continue to sponsor kids for activities, because just that one person can change a life. And
Absolutely.
I'm sitting here as
Proof.
a result and proof of what they did for me changed my entire trajectory. And so where we are with what we're doing today, it's not that we're just saving the kids. We're saving communities.
A whole community.
A community, and
yes.
with the parents' engagement and, you guys, and the closing guest speakers and all the people who come to visit, it takes a village. I actually read a comment on the Facebook page that we now have, Real Talk, It Takes a Village face. Someone had noted in there, I hear this basically all the time when I've been growing up, and everybody wants to jump in and all of a sudden they disappear. Facts.
True.
But here, our goal is to continue to keep that conduit with you guys.
Absolutely.
The system, with the parents, with the children, with the volunteers, with closing guest speakers, with sponsors. I think we've done a pretty good job.
I think we done a hell of a job.
Yes.
If you ask me, from when we started
to
having donated office for you.
Yeah.
I mean, me not having, when Miss Sheree started this, guys, I didn't have kids. Through the years, this has changed and change people's lives in a way that you wouldn't understand unless you're here at the program to witness it.
Yes.
When you see the 4 months that change, the kids coming in, thinking all thugged out, gangstered out, thinking they're too good for the program. By the fourth month, the fourth session, and they hear us speak, and we give it to them raw, unfiltered, through experiences from guys like having murdered somebody, from shooting people, from being in gangs at the highest level, to being incarcerated for a lot of different years doing segregation. We had one guy, people that used to call shots, to be working alongside with federal probation. And one of the goals that we had was, I even got to talk with another speaker, Eric, in front of the federal probation, the whole department, which was one of the goals that I set out for myself, which she provided because of the consistency. And we want more of you ex-felons that have been in the system, that want to hear their story, that want to change and have a story of redemption. Guys, I'm going to tell you, when you have purpose, giving back, you get to fill your cup every single time.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't understand that. I said, you don't understand that. I'm trying to save this child's life so that he doesn't affect your child by influencing
or your community or your
and the
residents.
community.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when people think about at-risk programs, they don't think sometimes because they don't think about, I'd like to hear more about that program, because some of these people, they're not facing these issues right now.
Yet.
So it's not their issue.
Yet.
But in actuality, what people don't understand is you have to understand something. Just because they're not affecting your home, you are 1 second away from that kid doing a drive-by or doing a home invasion, kicking down your door, gunpoint. It's happening now.
It's happening
right?
now.
And so, that's why I say, when I say this is an at-risk program, I use the term loosely. It's not academia version at risk.
Right.
It's not specifically that at risk I'm talking about. And I always try to share with people, I liken the at-risk term for every single child that comes from your house and my house.
Absolutely.
When they leave our house, no matter
they're at risk.
They're at risk. Whatever we instill at the house, being the mom or the dad, and we try to give them the tools of life and, discipline them, give them boundaries, that's all great at home. They're going to mind you. Mm-hmm. But once
when they leave,
that door opens and you say, okay, have a good day at school, you have to be faced with, I hope they make the right decision.
And that's the part.
That's where the at-risk comes in part.
Parents, community members, guardians, grandparents, you only can do so much in that so much amount of time. Mm-hmm. Once they leave that door, they can be with somebody that does a drive-by.
Yes.
That goes on a shopping spree, that crosses the street with somebody running away from a fight that's happening in school.
Yes.
Recording, gets hit by a car. Or recording a fight, I think it's all cool. Then they get implicated because they didn't stop it.
That part.
Right? We get parents that are at the wit's end. We have that don't know what to do.
Yes.
It's just inherited, like say a child from their sister that tried to burn them or something like that. Or had to travel state lines just to get them back because they have no place else to go.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a product of a split family, got dumped at my grandma's house, and I wonder why I have anger issues. But going through this program, I can see me in each and every one of them.
Yes.
Each and every one of them.
Absolutely.
And,
Yes.
a lot of the times it takes somebody that's been through the system, like you said, we're doctors of the street. We're indoctrinated because we're still here, not back inside. But how would you use all our experiences not to go in vain so that a lot of these young people, because let's face it, with the amount of social media going on and the enhancements and the compounding effect and the seeking of likes and everything else, it's not going to go away.
No. First.
What's available to them from an organizational standpoint from us that we can help them in that right direction when that decision has to be made. And it has happened.
Yes. 100%.
A lot, right?
Yes. And we, in this program, we can't save all of the children,
No.
right? My mission in life is to give them the food, the verbal food that they need, and they have to make a decision what they want to eat, right? And so, the goal is to hopefully they're listening, I use listening and not hearing.
You're not listening.
But you can listen to voices, right? And when you listen, you're analyzing.
Yeah.
And so I want them to analyze some of the things that they're hearing from you guys. And they may not look like they're paying attention.
But they are.
But they really are, because I'm telling you, the thank you letters that we get that these kids have to actually write when they want to get support for financial activities.
Scholarships.
Yes, they are putting it in the paperwork.
Absolutely.
And they're saying that, I learned a lot of things from the program. For instance, one kid, he wants to do baseball, and he specifically said one thing with Mr. Ed when he spoke. He put on paper that, he was being a really terrible kid to his parents, but he loves baseball, yada, yada, yada. And he says, and I remember what Mr. Ed said. He said verbatim in his letter what Mr. Ed said.
It's amazing.
Yes, and
Amazing.
said that, Mr. Ed, just like Mr. Ed said, you guys need to be thinking about not being a pigeon, but being an eagle.
Right.
And so those are the things that I love to read and share with you guys, because I want you guys to know that although you went through all the drama and trauma and street life and thug life and, did your criminal activity, it didn't go in vain, because you're here to help these other kids.
Yeah.
And we can't save them all, I know, but I do sleep very well at night because, unfortunately, there's some kids going to prison no matter what.
It's statistical.
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
But my goal, or our goal in specific, is to reduce those numbers.
Just a little bit.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because even though we have another episode that I just stuck on there today, where even though this is a controversial type of engagement with the kids, the parents, and what we're doing and stuff, and it's controversial, but you've been doing different things, the same old things over and over again, and it's just a machine in and out door, repetitive. Yeah. Now, if you could say the word kill, if you could use our stories, our experiences, combining and to get results, it's not going to go in vain, because like you said, the program, the Change One meetings, what it consists of is we have 3 speakers. Usually it's two male, 1 female in situations. And, let's face it, you have daughters out there, you have nieces out there that listen to the music, want to be so far doing all this other crazy stuff. So then we have actually a closing guest speaker that may not have gone through the system, but had made the same mistakes, and look where they ended up, right?
Yes.
The last one was the realtor people, right?
Yes.
And the other one. So it's like you have a combination of both. And with the workbook that we've created, they get to jot down their notes in a journal, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But when you look at what they're doing in the workbook, it's like, oh, okay.
And I want to make certain, though, that we cover the parent group, and we shared briefly last episode, but that is a mandatory program because, again, I've been in this system since 1991.
Okay.
12 of us, 8 boys, 4 girls, 6 of them end up in the institution. That would be my brothers. So seeing that coupled with going to school and getting a degree in criminal justice, and then working in the internship at juvenile courts, then at Child Haven, where they house protective custody kids, then from there working at juvenile parole, and then federal probation, and then being a teacher at the community college in the criminal justice system. All of that is the reason why I put the program together, because I understand your plight. I understand the community's plight.
So many different sides.
There's so many different pieces.
Angles.
And then the Batistas, of course.
Right.
Put that all together and you create a program called the Real Talk Youth Impact Program. And the basis is really, it's not just about the kids, but that's the focus, correct? Right.
Correct.
But I want to make sure that we recognize you guys, right? You know, you're paying back your amends to society. I want to make sure that we get the parents involved because sometimes the kids are not always the issue.
Both.
So you guys get a chance to tell the parents, pull up your britches. What are you doing? Take a mirror, look at yourself, and maybe we can try to reconcile the kid and the parent right before they leave. And then that last piece is the processing group.
Right.
Dr. Keith, where they go over their journal and they learn about what they've learned in the program. They talk about the things that they've learned. So it's a bigger picture than just you guys talking to the kids. And I want the people, the audience to know
much.
But the other thing I wanted to share, and I'll let you go with whatever other questions you have. I want to make sure, though, that we never forget about the victims, right?
Absolutely not.
We never forget about the victims because in your life and your old lifestyle and other people who have been in the program.
The selfish life.
Yes.
The selfish life.
You committed harm to the community.
Absolutely.
And to people who live in the community, the citizens. So I never, ever forget about recognizing the damage that was done to the citizens. This is the bigger picture, though, right? Because people, listen, there's naysayers.
Of course.
We're blowing up the ex-felons, the people who've been system affected. Well, what about the victims? Yeah, I get it. I know. What about the victims? That's why we created the program. So you would not be victimized again. From these folks.
Correct.
Because we've created a program for the children not to step up the ladder and be involved in the system like Mr. Gordon. So, yes, we get it. That's why we don't want any of these folks to come back and victimize the community again. Hence the reason why Real Talk's created, to stop these kids from entering the system or re-entering the system and giving them those tools that they're going to need when they leave this building and have to make that choice that we talked about, is just as we did as kids.
As a criminal, as an ex-convict, as somebody that's been selfish, drug addict, did everything under the sun that you can think of with so many convictions, so many arrests and everything else, the one thing that's going to say throughout is, when you're doing all that stuff, you only think about yourself.
Sure.
Right? And when they say it's a victimless crime, financial, you're going to pay back your restitution. But you did hurt something in someone in a bigger...
affected.
Whether you was robbing a house, whether you stole somebody's heirloom jewelry, whether you put somebody's gun in the head, whether you shot somebody or you shot a bullet and hit a house, something happened.
Yeah.
And to make atone for that, a lot of people don't understand, like you said, the victimness with the parents. And to reverse back into the parent group, a lot of the parents, like you said, when they put that mirror, when we give it to them raw, your kids won't listen to you. My kids don't listen to me, right? But at the same time, they'll listen to somebody else because because mommy and daddy is too close to it. They don't know any better, right? But when you explain it to them, some of the parents, like I'm in the parent room, it gets emotional, it gets really intense. For some of the parents that come there for the first time, they actually say they needed that because they want to bottle everything up so much what they're going through.
Sure, of course.
Right? Because they're at their wits' end.
Yes,
they don't know what else to do. And that's why they're searching.
Well, and that's why we have Google rates going up to search for dealing with, how do I deal with my teenage kid or disrespect, or, is there
everything under the sun?
Is there a program out there that deals with juveniles? And so that's why our, Google search when people are entering our program has increased. And it's not a hidden figure, right? It's not a hidden subject that we're having issues with kids today. And, the thing that we really want to make sure that the audience understands is, number one, this is a free program. So it's a free program. And so if there are people out there in this community, it's in Las Vegas, Nevada, but we want to take it nationwide.
Correct.
But if there's people out there that are just looking for some alternatives, I welcome them to show up once they've registered in our program and see what we do.
Oh, 100%. Changing communities, changing a state, changing what we look at. Those cards.
These are just some of the cards. We have the kids when they're in our program. They can ask any questions they want from the speakers. They may be embarrassed, right? As you know, they don't want to raise their hand and ask the question. So we have them put them on 3x5 cards. And let me tell you, these cards, these questions are pretty amazing. And so we challenge the speakers to answer the questions. We can't, of course, get through all of these at the time, but these are over the years what we've collected. And, we want to hear from the kids. We want to make sure that we answer the questions that they have and also to give them a voice.
No, kids need a voice. Parents need to be heard. Parents need to get stuff off their chest. Kids need to be heard also in a correct way, in a setting that they feel safe.
They have to be respectful with.
I mean, I've had some of my, what do you call that? Kids that I coached baseball coming through the program. Like, what are you doing here? Right? But it's like, it doesn't matter who, what, which. I mean, when they see me, it's like, oh, wow. It's like, Coach, what do you do? But, it's one of those things that somebody has to do, but nobody's willing to do.
Sure.
And this is what the Real Talk organization does, right? You have some of us ex-felons that have their masters, doctrines. I mean, anything you can think under the sun, we have done to better our lives. Yes. I mean, can you read some of these cards in case some of the parents, these are some of the end results and some of the questions that, read like a few.
Here's what inspired you to talk to us at Real Talk. This is some of the questions they want to know, right? There's another one. What is one thing you would do that you wouldn't do? What is one thing in your past? What is one thing you would change in your past? These are some of the questions. Let's see. Some of these I can't read the response. Do you feel? Do they feed you in jail?
They're curious.
Listen, this program is not about when people come and want to speak at our program, they don't just get thrown in there. There's a process. Yeah. We take you through an orientation process and I interview you, but I have to see that you want to be involved. And so we invite you to come out and check the program out. But then after you go through the first phases, then I do the interview to make sure that you're prepared and you're ready to talk to kids. So it's a process of 4 months. So I vet you before I allow you to speak to these children because
and we also get vetted by the state.
And we have to have you go through a mandatory state training in order for you to be a participant and taking part in speaking to kids or dealing with kids. So we have many, many questions that we always want to make certain that we get to these kids. And, there's a lot going on. One of them, what was the difference in life from when you got out to before you went to jail? That's a good one. Right?
And it gets us to thinking too, like these kids are really thinking about this stuff. And then there's all kind of stuff. We got people that's been shot, conked on the head, got shot in the head, blind for life, this and that. Speakers with no arms, all kind of different stuff.
So here's a wild one. And this kid probably was having issues because he was feeling himself, right? Which we allow you to speak. It's called Real Talk. So tell us how you feel. He says this, Gordon. Why do y'all do Real Talk if you know half of these kids don't care? Real talk.
Right.
Let them say what they say.
Yeah.
And so I remember one time there was a question that was asked to Ray Torres, who was part of it for 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And I remember this vividly. We're at the Pearson Community Center. And one of the kids, I think he was like, 9 maybe. And he asked, the question was, what brought you to Real Talk?
Right.
And Gordon, right off the cuff, he says, you brought me to Real Talk.
Right.
And everybody starts clapping. Yeah. You brought me to Real Talk because I want to make sure that you don't end up in the system like I did.
Right.
And so, so I thought that was pretty powerful.
That
and,
was powerful.
Yes. And, we get tons of, there's so many. There's just so many, and we want to make sure that the kids can be heard, right?
Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. When creating the program, did it all come into your head at did it come from the man up above, or did you piece it all together going on a flyby? I always wondered that, right?
Yeah.
The processing, the kids, the parents, and you knew you had to do it all.
Yeah.
How do you come about doing that?
Honestly, a lot of it was Mr. God himself.
Correct.
Right?
Beside,
this is my calling. This is his program. I think a lot of it also had to do with, again, my experiences, from all sides of the spectrum, right? From growing up in this element, from working in the system, from understanding that even working in the system, what things needed to change in order for people to change, right? Yeah. And so my vision was you have to have a process to get through the madness, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And so
it's the SOP.
And so with knowing all of what I was dealing with and also being engaged in the community, I think, the best thing that I guess could have happened to me when I was a PO for the juveniles, a juvenile parole officer, right? I did that for 5.5 years. Never had any intention on being an adult parole probation officer or parole officer in life.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
I believed at a very young age my calling was working with kids.
Okay.
But God had a different story. So I did the 5.5 years with the kids. And the only reason I left the kids because I got sick of the parents. Because they weren't holding the kids accountable. They weren't treating them with boundaries. It was just a lot. And then they would allow me to be the person to bring the hammer down on the kids.
The teacher, the bad person.
So, but I'm only here for 6 months with your child. What are you going to do when I'm gone?
Correct.
So I didn't want to be the deadbeat PO like a lot of the colleagues that I had at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see myself
being a part of that regime.
Yes, that wasn't my lane. I didn't like the negativity every time they would talk about a child. But for me, I'm hungry. I'm 5 years in. I want to help the world. I want to change the world. I want to change these kids' lives.
That's honorable, right?
Right.
It's purpose driven.
So that's exactly why, I got tired of that. I said, you know what? I got to get out of here before I become one of them. So I started looking into the feds, and the parent told me her friend worked at the federal probation office. I applied there. I had 4 interviews with them.
Mm-hmm.
Till finally, the third interview, after the third interview, I didn't get it. I basically impromptu went to the federal building and asked to speak to the chief. He allowed me to speak to him, and I flat out asked him, what do I need to do to get hired with your agency? He's like shocked. He's like, oh, well, we need to do this, which is a bunch of crap, but whatever, it is what it is. And so the next one opening they had, guess who got hired?
Right in.
Yeah. I mean, there was a panel interview. Every time I did, it was a panel interview. So
Right.
I'm asking them the question. I'm interviewing them now. That's the 4th time in. So I get into the feds, and it was amazing because, again, it was such a thing that I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing. I wanted to work with kids. But God said, yeah, but go over here for
See what it's
15
about.
years.
Experience.
And meet these people. Yeah, right?
Experience.
And meet these adults. And what I learned over there, Gordon, was this. What I learned over there, honestly, it was the same type of work. It was just older kids and older parents.
And this was
That's
getting
all
worse.
it was.
Older kids, older parents, more attitude.
Yep. Well,
Because you had more thought wisdom.
of course. Yep.
And more, would you say, what's the word? The word for it would be more crap for nothing.
Well,
More words for nothing.
let me tell you something. This is when I had a case, this mom, this is why I said you will always be mom's baby. Always. No matter if
Yeah,
you're 60 years
yeah.
old, okay? The mom, I remember this so vividly, she was calling about her son. Mom's got to be 75. Son's like 45,
Still
45, 50. And mom says to me, well, he's such a good boy. I said, ma'am, I'm sorry. I don't mean disrespectful. I said, but he is not a boy. He is a man. And you need to refer to him as a man and stop coddling him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? So I left the juvenile system doing the same.
Older.
And but it was, you know what? I loved it. I loved working with the feds because I loved the people on my caseload. I didn't love my administration,
Like anything else.
but I love the people on my caseload because we didn't see eye to eye,
Right.
I wanted to help you.
Right. But
Because
they're not seeing it that way.
I wanted to help because the recidivism rate's still the
It's
same.
too high.
So is it easier for me to try and help you stay your course and get right in the community than send you back to prison? You still have a release date unless you got an L behind your back.
No matter what.
So you're coming back.
Yeah,
anyway.
regardless. Yeah.
I want to see you in the grocery
Yeah.
store. Say, hey, Gordon, how you
Yeah.
doing? I want to see you at church. Hey, how you doing, Gordon? I've had that happen so many times in the community, and people will come up to me and, hey, what's up? How you doing, Gordon?
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I made a difference, not only from the juvenile section, but now that I'm in the
Both
feds,
sides.
I got both sides.
Sides.
And I was fortunate to meet great people.
Right.
So that's how, to answer your question, with having all of that background and being able to work with the feds, understanding what you guys go through as adults and, ex-cons and coming out and trying to start all over again.
Yeah, it's hard.
And so I felt this best use you as a tool because it helps
Absolutely.
you.
Yep.
And when you guys see my personal view, when you guys see that you are affecting these kids in such a positive way, you get excited. It's something that grabs your heart. And I can see it on a lot of the speakers' faces over the last 13 years.
Oh,
Is that
100,
true?
absolutely. Because you think about it. I used to talk at prisons, Las Vegas Rescue Mission, Coachman, like you said. It's the same thing. They're just older. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't see it? So I'm thinking something has to change
Yes.
in a earlier stages so that they can change and at least have a chance to not be this person.
Sure.
Because I can talk to a man, they're going to understand this and that. They're in the back of their head, they're thinking, what does this dude know? Right. And especially when I used to be younger, now I got a little gray on my hair going on.
Yeah.
I have the wisdom look, right?
Yep.
But now when you talk to the kids and you gave them a fighting chance with a program, an organization that can point them in the right direction.
Yes.
They have a chance at 30.
That part.
They have a chance at 25.
Yes.
Versus that 25 trying to instill belief systems in them that can't be changed.
Yes.
Unless a whole life-changing moment happens.
Yes. And and the thing for me in this program is, my biggest thing is what I really try to tell the kids and people that I talk to. I'm taking away your excuses.
100%.
Because
there should be none.
You're here, you're getting the information before you make the mistake. You're getting scholarship support for you to do an activity that your mom can't afford.
Right.
You're getting an opportunity to write and express your feelings on your workbook. You're getting the opportunity to express yourself in the closing processing group with Dr. Keith. And you're getting the opportunity to reconcile with your mom or your dad or whomever's living in the home with what we're giving your parents as tools to address you in the home.
Also.
So what else do you want us to give you? Because we can't make the decisions for you.
At that point, if this was a behavior treatment center, right? Only thing is like, okay, instead of like 6 months, 9 months, or a drug program, behavior modification program, or it's something that the kids can grasp, that they can see with themselves doing, but not also feel like they're in juvie.
Sure. Yeah.
Because they still get to go home. They get to see from real convicts that did the work, put the work in, survived it, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, to be able to give back and to have them see themselves in that person, whether they're of color, Asian, from the islands, in different color, Mexican, Spanish, in the gangs.
Yeah,
absolutely. Right? They can see themselves, and some of them actually say like, man, that's not for me. Because then I don't have to stop acting. I don't have to start performing. Now, what happens after that, when the process goes at the Change One meetings, when they see us talk, the parents, and they can actually communicate together on the ride home.
Absolutely.
Is unbelievable.
Well, and that's part of the pieces that I want to pull together in the podcast, right? Because my goal or our goal should be, I want to know personally, how was the ride home after the first meeting?
Oh, we parents want to come here.
And so I think that's the most powerful tool that we can give to the audience, is to share, like, this is real stuff that is making real change within the family structure. And so, that's the beauty of the program too, is that there's so many pieces that change. Just even from our closing guest speakers, like we have judges coming in talking to the kids. So they get it from the judges' side as well, right? We have people who could have went the wrong way as closing guest speakers, but chose to say no and never got arrested, and basically could have easily been arrested, right? So what are you going to do when you leave our doors?
Right.
Because we've given you everything that we feel is necessary for you to make the right choices. Now, it's up to you.
No, 100%. It's awesome.
You're going to have a fork in the road in this life. You can never stay in the middle.
Thanks for watching. Hit that follow button and listen to it on Spotify or Apple Podcast.
You got to make a choice.
What are some of the questions that has impacted you over the years? Like the one you said with Ray. What is some of the questions you see parents ask you when they call.
Oh, wow.
So parents, if some of these questions that she's going to mention right now, right? And it's something that you're stuck because you don't know what to do. This is what we're for. So that's why I asked that question, because she's going to see like, you're not the only one that's going through this.
Yes.
Trust me.
We get several calls a month because a lot of people just go to the website or they Google us, right? Or Google search and it comes up. There's a couple of things that are pretty consistent, which is, well, he's just disrespectful. She's just disrespectful. I don't know what else to do. I believe they're getting high or they're using some type of drugs, and they're explain the behaviors to me. And, because I would ask the question, well, do you think they're using any drugs, any substances or anything like that? One lady in particular gave me some of the actions that they were displaying. I said, your son is doing drugs, ma'am. I mean, I'm just letting you know. He's doing drugs. These are all signs of drugs. And this is 16-year-old, and she goes, well, he just won't listen to me anymore. And this is, the disrespect, the sneaking out and coming home late, the violent tempers. And so I would share with her, one lady in particular, I'd say, is he in any therapy, or do you have availability to get him therapy? And so she goes, well, yeah, we have insurance. I says, well, I'd suggest that to start. I said, but this is a program where he definitely would fit the script because the road he's on right now, it doesn't get any easier.
100.
So I share with her, like, we have ex-felons that talk to our children, and just to really get them to be aware of, this is not where you want to go.
Right.
And so those are some of the things that I get from the parents. And, this particular lady, I says, I say these words, just sign them up. After I tell them what we do and they're giving me their spiel, I tell them, listen, just sign them up and bring them. I said, stop talking to them. I said, because I can guarantee you everything you're telling them, the speakers will tell them it's just not coming from you.
100%.
So just close it down. Let them think that they're renting. Just sign them up. Bring them here. I know you can't pick your 16-year-old son and put him in the car, but find a way to get him here.
Or say with 9 of them. I'd say 75% of the time, the parents was like, they didn't know what to expect. I signed them up, like you said. I brought him here. He doesn't like it. But on the way home, they kind of get an epiphany of what's in their life for them.
Yes.
When you're seeing guys do 10, 15, 20 years, and you hear not just the horror stories about how you lost so much, right? Even like for one of my books, right? It's like you get to see that from a different angle, and it puts you into perspective as a kid, because you never had these kind of programs back in our day.
No.
I mean, you had DARE. Yeah. Okay, but not something that's going to change your, including the parents, because let's face it, like Miss Sheree says, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes you got to get down to the nitty-gritty and the dynamics of what's going on. And when I talk to the parents and they talk to us ex-felons and they see an angle, even like some of the interns, when they see it, they're like, man, I never even thought of that thing.
Yeah, of course.
I mean.
Yeah, and and the thing for me too is that, the parents, we as parents, right, we for me, I know me for sure, I'm the hammer, right? Because I've seen it. I've lived around it.
And this
I've
is why
worked
it's hard.
And this is exactly, where I'm, and it's not out of hate, as you know. Just, I don't want my kids to make those mistakes. But again, I understand they're not exempt from trouble.
Oh, correct.
Right? But the thing that really resonates for me is when the parents get here, and especially for our court-ordered parents, they're not happy that they have to go through a parenting group because they're not the person that committed the delinquent act. It's their child.
Correct.
So they don't want to really be here, right?
But
when they go through the parent group, oh my gosh, they are in love with this program. Like, wow, going through this, I remember specifically where there was a parent when we were at Pearson Community Center. She was pissed.
Oh, I see them all the time.
Hot.
Oh.
And I'm running the program, the front desk, trying to get everybody situated. And she comes over. She says, I have to be here. I says, yes, ma'am. Your son is court ordered and it's mandatory for.
I remember some of them.
I didn't have. Well, why I got to go through all this? I didn't create this crime. I says, you know what, ma'am? I didn't create a crime either. And guess what? I don't have any kids in the program. I'm trying to help you with your son. So can you please just comply?
Absolutely.
And you know what? She went to the parent group, pissed. By the end of the night, she was looking for me to thank me.
100%.
Thank me. Oh my gosh, this is such an amazing program, Miss Sheree. So thank you so much for creating this. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. I learned so much, and I'm so glad I'm not the only one going through what I'm going through.
Yeah, it happens I see it
All the time.
every month because parents don't, like you said, they're an adult in the kid's body with traumatized things going on. Now you add traumatized with the kids. They don't want to be here spending time. But that's where veterans like us in the program that's been through the program know what to see, and it can be actually empathetic to the parents.
Sure.
Because now I'm a parent also, but knowing it's coming from somebody that's going to relate a message. The key thing is I'm going to relay a message, what you tell me, so I can tell my other speakers what to relay, so we can hone in on a problem that you might have going on.
Yes.
I said, you guys do that? I said, it's a combined effort.
Yes.
This is why we split everybody up into here, so you can hear our stories and come up from a different angle.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
And it's like, when you see a different angle, and you mean you get some buck back, but,
of
but at the same time, you got some that's been in the system, but it's like, they don't listen to you because it's mommy and daddy.
And the thing for me is when the kids, the main thing for us in this program, because you know how I operate, there's a level of respect that I demand. I don't ask. We don't ask for respect. I demand it. Because if I ask you to do something, then I'm giving you an option.
Yeah.
So we make sure that we create boundaries for these kids, understand that the level of respect needs to be to the fullest. You're not going to disrespect the speakers, the parents. We're not going to disrespect our volunteers. So we have to create boundaries for these kids so they understand that we're really serious about this. Yeah. Take time out of your day to volunteer to speak, because you don't get paid for this. You get community recognition, and it's self-fulfilling.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So, but the big picture for me is that, I'm a big believer that we have to set boundaries for the kids, because kids love boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to tell you that, but they love them. Yeah. And they love them because it shows that we love you, right?
Subconsciously, yes.
And so we have to, and these kids, they know they're loved. We might chastise them. More me, but we chastise them when they're out of line, but we also tell them that we love them, right?
Well,
there's a purpose.
They need to have that in an essence, because they might not be getting it at home. They might not be getting it from wherever they're trying to get it from, because some of them don't come from a good structured family home.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, you do have any things you want to get off your chest before, because we've been doing this. Oh, wow.
We need to.
Let me end it this way. Guys, if you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you're watching the replay, if you're watching the short edit, the short forms, anything, get involved. You want to volunteer? Reach out to Miss Sheree. If you wanna comment, leave us subscribe notification, leave us a comment, reach out. Go on the website, realtalkyip.org. Go on the drop down, have a get involved button. Tap one of those things. If you're looking to put your tax dollars and get a tax write-off into something else, and we do accept donations, because it takes let's face it, it takes a certain amount of money to keep this building operating, right? And yes, we got the title for the building and everything, but the upkeep is just in the thousands. Could you please, if you have somebody that can donate, if you have somebody that can volunteer on any type of issues, from building, AC, maintenance, elevator, we are looking for donations. Go to the program again, reach out, volunteer, donate, leave us a review, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, so we were gifted this building. So it's amazing, 10,000 square feet. God has put things together for this program for the last 13 years. And this is why I say this is my calling. This is what he gave me to do. And we are grateful that this building was actually gifted to us, a 10,000 square foot building. We got this building in 2020. We moved in. Yes, we moved in 21. Yeah. So we've been here since 21, but the upkeep is expensive. We didn't know he was going to give the building to us, but he gifted this building to us January of 2026, and now we have to keep the building up. So we struggle, but you know what? We're still here. So with your help, any donation, even $5 a month, that's more than what we get on a specific, consistent basis. So we appreciate you guys checking us out. Check out our website. There's tons of things going on. Yeah. So one of our guys in our program, we have Mr. Eric. He's been with me for almost 13 years, and he has coffee. It's coffee beans. It is amazing.
It's good coffee.
Tosotos del País, it is on Amazon right now, and he has our logo on the bag. He's had this coffee for 2.5 years. He donates to our program with the proceeds. Please check it out. He's giving us a portion of the proceeds, and we're getting ready to do a coffee shop eventually, so stay tuned.
Alert pops over here. So I'm a minority stake owner, but if you're looking for something to support the cause and have a great tasting picker-upper, besides the energy drinks and the caffeine crash, this is the new batch that just came out. It has a blue focus factor, a little bit of what they call blue beta alanine or something like that. We come in 3 flavors, espresso. We do have a collaboration going on right now. And a lot of the proceeds at the end of this all from our projected will be donated to the program because I'm real close with the owner. In fact, I am part of the ownership, even a small one, but we have the green light to do that. I want to thank some of our sponsors.
These are amazing.
Right?
Amazing. Some of our sponsors, yes. Finley Automotive, that's been with us well over 7 years. We have Los Vaqueros. They've donated over $120,000 to us. That's $10,000 a year. We have had Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Thank you for your support. We have also had the Canarelli Family Foundation. Thank you for your support for the last 4 years. They've given us almost $100,000. We have just a plethora of different smaller organizations that continue to donate, but the money goes pretty quick. Just for the record, we scholarship kids for activities, so some of those donations go to a restricted fund, which is specifically geared for the kids' activity fund. We have given away over $396,000 to kids who are getting involved in activities. So whatever you can donate will be amazing. Help us keep the building open and also help us keep these kids engaged in activities so they will not be in your community victimizing you.
Guys, I want to say thank you and aloha. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, where you get your podcast, hit that notification bell. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and hit the notification button to have you follow. Leave us a comment, guys. It helps with us. We'll see you guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Hit that follow button and listen to it on Spotify or Apple Podcast.